I am very overt about the fact that I never want to get married again. Don't.
Why? Why are you so overt about it?
Mhm.
Why are you so vocal and like dead set on it? Why? Hey guys, welcome to the official YouTube page for Calm Down with Erin and Charissa. This is where you can watch all of our ridiculous conversations and fun interviews.
We have full shows. We've got pre-games, anything and everything that you guys could want. But first, you're going to have to subscribe. Just hit subscribe right there and you're good to go.
And now you can calm down with us.
Yep. Can you tell that we're reading this off a script? We hope so. All right. We need to calm down and wrap this bad boy up. Press subscribe. Thanks for listening.
Calm Down with Erin and Charissa is a production of iHeartRadio.
Hello, everybody.
Hello.
And welcome to the latest installment of the Calm Down podcast. Erin and I are so far yet so close together. The countdown is on for our trip to Taylor Swift. Thank you guys so much for all of the feedback on
so
what
much
to
feedback.
wear, all the things. So we're excited about that. We have a lot going on. What are we going to talk about today, sister?
We are going to talk about how was the Belmont?
Incredible. We will get into that. I had the great opportunity to work that for Fox. Erin also has an update for everybody on her Korean skincare for those of you that are new to the program.
It's called Look What Happened to My Face.
Erin,
we'll get into that.
Who has been singing the praises, but now it sounds like that's not the case anymore. So stay tuned for that. Also, our gal is playing a little hurt today because she was up all night. Not on a bender, but being a mom. And
if you want to call saline spray a bender, then I am wasted. We'll get to that.
Welcome
and more.
Okay, Erin's been doing this move. For those of you that can't see her, she takes her stack of papers and like keeps organizing them. Like she's got like so many documents that she's going through with over there, and it makes me laugh every time. Erin's very organized and always has her shit together. What's on those papers? Did you print out what?
My cute assistant did. Hold on. Can I ask? I've seen a lot of people Instagram this kind of stuff. I am a 3-beverage gal. I got the coffee, I got the water, and I got the green juice. Are you the same? I cannot just have one drink.
Am I the same? I feel like you know this about me. I'm surprised I only have one beverage in my hand right now. Anyone that has known me knows that for the longest time, a brunch consists of water, coffee, green juice, mimosa.
Yeah.
And then we'll get into the Aperol spritz portion. I mean, at any given time, there could be 5 beverages right in front of me. It's excessive. And a Diet Coke.
I also have 2 different lip glosses, a pen.
Yeah.
What's on your desk, not what's in your purse.
Well, what's in my wallet is not a lot of money.
2 concealers for my zits that I'm hiding.
Really?
Yeah, we got
all that right in front of you. That's adorable. And also very organized that you have your concealers in a Ziploc bag.
Well, because they were in my nasty purse with the gross, dirty bottom. Like, it's insane.
So
what are we doing for a purse at Taylor Swift? Because I feel like venue, see-through, I don't know what to do. And I only need like credit card, lip gloss, gum,
phone,
hotel key. Jared can hold that.
Yeah. Mints. Oh, you said gum?
Gum.
I panic. Oh my gosh. We'll get to all the things. Actually, you know what? This is going to take us right to it. So I had the great privilege of being one of the individuals that got to cover the Belmont for Fox, which is very exciting for a gal like me who's currently at the ranch and has always loved horse racing because I used to go to the track with my grandpa when I was a little girl, and he'd give me $20 and he would tell my grandma, don't tell her that we're at the track and I'll give you money, because he didn't want her knowing that he was gambling, because there may or may not have been a problem. If you have a problem, call 1-800-GAMBLING.
Oh no.
In your respective state. But he just gave me some hush money. And by the way, as a 7-year-old getting $20, Mama was ready, rich. I'd go right up to that window and I learned how to make the bets and win, play, show, the whole thing. So imagine my enthusiasm when Fox comes to me last year and they're like, we got the Belmont, and we'd love you to work it. We know your affinity for horse racing, the ponies. I talked about this last week for those of you that listen to the podcast. Thank you. So I was in Saratoga all week. Now, first time in Saratoga. I went to the Gap a lot of times. I bought many outfits from the Gap, which I also
gotta say, Gap Kids, unbelievable for my child.
I was going to buy a bunch of stuff for Max Dole at Gap Kids, but then I had a carry on, so that wasn't going to make it back. But anyways, that was fun, learning new restaurants. Shout out to the Cantina in Saratoga. Got a lot of every time Erin called me, she goes, "You back at the Mexican restaurant?" Sure am. Sure am. Had a great taco salad.
Hola.
Best taco salad and margarita, frozen margarita. So to the kind people in Saratoga, thank you for being so welcoming, which I know I've mentioned this before on the podcast and I sound like we're so arrogant for saying this. I just have to thank anyone that comes up to me or to Erin or when we're together or not together and says that they love the podcast. It makes me so happy.
So nice.
This happened multiple times while I was there. And I hope you guys know that it actually really makes me happy because sometimes Erin and I are like, who's listening? But it's adorable and I love all of you guys. Okay.
And you FaceTimed me with a couple of fans.
FaceTimed, yes, because I was like, well, they're like, I love you and Erin. I was like, well, let's just call her right now. So it really makes my heart happy. So thank you guys for being so generous and giving up a little bit of your time every week to listen if you do.
So sweet.
So backdrop of Saratoga, the oldest racetrack in the country. Incredible. I had never been there before, which bummed me out, but
you look gorgeous.
Oh, you're very sweet. But so fun. And was there, and I have this fear like you do of having bad breath or BO or just not being fresh. Boogers. As Erin and I like to say, like we love the freshness. So I am going to a dinner and I realize as I've gone down the elevator and I'm in the lobby, I'm like, shit, I don't have any gum in my purse. So then go to the little area at the front of the hotel where they're selling, the concessions, things like that. They don't have any gum. I'm like, fuck, we have no gum. And I don't want to go all the way back up to scrounge around.
You're waiting. You're going on floors.
And I'm there, right? I'm there for work. And anyone, we do not get in that car, be on time. Don't be that person that's late.
Sure.
So what is at the little concession area is a toothbrush and a toothpaste. So what do? I buy the toothbrush and toothpaste. I throw away the toothbrush because I don't need the toothbrush. And I'm eating toothpaste throughout the evening. That's what I did. Instead of having gum, I just squeezed the Crest Little Mini into my mouth while I was out and about. Sorry, I'm not going to risk it. And maybe that's gross and maybe that's bad for me. Just a full douse in the mouth, freshness, and ready to go.
Yeah, I mean, I've heard worse things, I appreciate the effort.
Yeah.
I love it.
Mm-hmm. So I was in Saratoga all week, fresh as a daisy, and just got back and got to my ranch. And I have learned so many tips and tricks with the ponies. I can't wait to I'm looking at my horse right now out this window. And
Rich.
Yeah. Well, he was very inexpensive. He's not a thoroughbred racehorse. Okay. And I know that but poor guy out there, I thought that horses just sleep standing up. Well, I was informed from my time in Saratoga with these thoroughbred horse races that they would love to sit down and sleep if you give them a bed to lay down on. And I'm like, what do you mean a bed? Well, that's what I'm thinking. So of course I'm like, well, let's get the horse the best bed that you can get. It's like, no, it's like straw or like something that's just soft for the horse to lay down on. I feel like such a dick because all I have are these little shavings in my sweet Oz's house out there. So guess who's about to get a full on setup with a bed? This guy. I'm going to be out there shoving some straw into his little stall and he is going to be a happy camper.
Aww.
I know. His life's about to change. His life already has changed. He's loving it out there.
Where are you when the horses go? Like when the race begins? Were you there? Were you at your set? Where were you?
Adorable. Thank you for asking. I was in the winner's circle because I had the great privilege of presenting the trophy with the governor of New York. Kathy Hochul. And so I'm in the winner's circle and it goes by like that. And Dornick, who is one of the owners, is Jason Worth, who used to play for the Phillies, and he's won a World Series. And it was so fun to see. He wasn't the favorite and not a lot of people thought he was going to win. He wasn't projected to win. So as disappointing as it was because I lost money betting on the favorite, it was cool to see sort of the long shot, not sort of the long shot. He was mid-range long shot, win the race and to have Jason win. And I loved like asking him afterwards, like where this ranked compared to winning a World Series. And he was like, it beats it, which is cool. Like, I mean, really that's like the pinnacle of his profession, but then to be an owner of a horse is cool. So yeah,
it's great for the sport too. I was thinking about this earlier. I want to talk about trophy presentation interviews or interviews in the winner's circle. I've had the opportunity to do a few at the World Series. You were phenomenal doing yours there. I was getting a big kick. People have no idea. They have no clue how difficult those are. Mm-hmm. They are so hard. There's so many people. They're all excited. We get that, but you also have a job to do. They always say, do not give up your mic, even if someone is like wrestling it from you. Mm-hmm. Also, I meant to ask
Gave
you,
up my mic to the governor.
I saw that, but I wasn't critiquing that part. Were you on the loudspeaker? So could you hear yourself too? People also don't understand how difficult that is. Yeah. You have to block that out or hope to God your IFBs are so loud that you can't hear your voice on the loudspeaker, because that is so hard.
Well, it's funny you say that because it like reverberates. And that's what I always think happens with singers. Like, we know what? It's like a foregone conclusion that a singer always rip them out of their ears, because they must be hearing some sort of like, whether it's static or reverb or something. Because if you hear yourself and then you're on a delay, I mean, we're putting it out there. This is not the hardest thing in the world. It's just different than any other part of the job.
You know what? I'm done saying that, because we don't give ourselves enough credit. It's fucking hard. It's hard. You. Now, we're not performing brain surgery. We're not, in a courtroom trying, a case, blah, blah, blah. It's hard. Not everyone can do it. I'm sick of everyone thinking they can. Anywho, it's hard. So you have that. Then you got the gentleman in the back that
one of the owners.
Love his excitement, but wow, he wants to get his word in. You don't want to be a dick and you want to acknowledge him, but you got places to go before. And I'm sure in your ear, they're telling you to rap. And my man wants to talk about the jockey and the trainer. And you reminded me of Ellen from A Christmas Story. So anyway, like, you handled it. So people have no idea how hard that is. You got everybody wanting to talk.
Well, you're very sweet to say that, but it is number one rule. And I actually watched Jim Nantz do this, and he talked about it in an interview where that is like the number one rule. Like, you do not give up your microphone. And there was a time, I don't know which Super Bowl he was referencing, where you could see my man, like,
it's a struggle.
You're not taking this thing away, because at that point, then you lose all control. But yeah, there's a lot. And especially, again, the horse racing is not my domain. Like, I go into it because of Fox's rights.
You can't tell
I go out of it. Like, it is not my thing. So when you don't know who the winner is within that last few seconds. It's not like you're watching a game and it's like someone has a 10-point lead or they're up by 2 touchdowns, and you can sit there and plan out like, where's the trainer, where's the owner? Like, it is like, and my biggest fear is which we've seen this happen in sports. We saw it recently, like, not identifying the right individual.
Yeah.
And like, especially when like for them, that's like the biggest moment. This is their horse that just won, or a trainer or whatever. Yeah. So I always want to just caution that I'm like making sure I'm the right people. But yeah, you're very sweet. It is not easy, but it's also hard. Like, yeah.
Coolest one I've ever done was after the Red Sox won, after the Boston Marathon bombing.
I can't.
And Poppy, like, you shouldn't give up your mic, but I gave Poppy my mic so he could reenact the speech of like, this is our effing city. If I'm going to give my mic up to anyone, I'd give it up to that beauty. And then hardest one I've ever done was the San Francisco Giants won the World Series in San Francisco. It was pouring rain and I was pumped. Like, when you're feeling it, I was like, I freaking nailed this. I lost all my notes because it was raining. I couldn't look down at who I was introducing, who was there. But finally, when it was going on, it was going on. But the one thing I kept thinking of is like, I'm looking at Bruce Bochy right now, and I know all my fake eyelashes are all over my face. And I'm so sorry, Boch. But they weren't. But it was like, it was hard.
That's so cool, though. Like, really, I mean, of course, if you get to do any of those, but the emotion attached to that Boston one, I can't imagine.
Oh my God. Every night during that World Series, before the first pitch, everybody was crying because they always had a tribute and they always had the first responders so-and-so that was injured. It was just like full blown. And just what that World Series meant, it was like relief and peace for that town. It was so amazing. My mom and dad came. It was unbelievable. It was an insane postseason. It was so fun to be a part of. I was raised a Red Sox fan. Yeah. My dad's from Springfield. My mom's from Rhode Island. It was really, really cool.
Oh, I can't imagine how you feel. I got excited to go to the All-Star game in Seattle with my mom. I can't imagine being on the field and like having your parents see all that. They must be like, it was pretty. I know they're proud of you, but
I don't remember if it was the round before, or if it was the World Series. I think it was the World Series. It was the World Series because my mom and dad were there. But Poppy was annoyed with the media. I don't know if he kind of was not playing well, but something was going on storyline wise. He wasn't speaking to the media. But he did a pregame interview with me in the Red Sox dugout. And that was the only media and only interview he did. And I remember my parents were standing right there and I was like, my man. I love him so much.
I'm so proud of you though. But let's go back to what we talk about. Relationships.
Yeah.
Like building those relationships and earning that, because that's so special. And when you actually get to have it come to fruition where it's like that reputation, or not, yes, the reputation, but also the equity that you've built up in the friendship can pay off in that moment is really special. So you're there to do your job. And if that job means that you get access to somebody that's not giving anyone else access, good on you, girl. You
crushed the Belmont. You did great.
You're so. Erin is like the biggest supporter. She's so sweet. Like she'll text me throughout a broadcast. That like she's, obviously on Sunday she's busy, she's working. But when she's not working, and she always, I don't know, you always make a point to be so supportive, and I just love you for that. Thank you.
We were out to lunch. Mac was having his first rack of ribs and vanilla ice cream, and I turned on my YouTube TV, not an ad, but I'd love it to be, and I had my girl on. I was like so worried that your feature had already played. I was like, Jared, they already ran the race, and it was actually an hour before. They hadn't even run it yet. But it's like, you're like the same way. I just kind of have you on. Like, I want to know what's going on,
I love you. And shout out to our girl, Carsey Phipps and Harper, Cutie Cute.
Come on.
Anyone that's a longtime listener of the Calm Down podcast knows that
she's busy.
Carsey is always busy. She's got things going on, and that they're such a great family. Hey, what's not great though is, Erin, we alluded to it at the beginning here. You've got a little situation with the Korean skincare. What's happening? I
got a little buildup going on the chin, which is always my issue. That's always my concern area. Finally went and got a facial today, and when they are spending more time on the extraction versus the lifting and tightening, we got an issue. So basically I came clean and I said, I stopped using the products you sell here and I started using Korean skincare. And one thing about Korean skincare, which I was excited about because I fell for all the ads, was the dual cleansing. We do our oil cleansing first, and then we do our foaming cleansing. I was doing that twice a day, in the morning and at night. What I've learned, because I'm a T-zone gal, we don't need to be putting any more oil on these pores that we already have. We had a massive blockage. So what we have going on right now is probably like, I am like a push pad. What do you call it? Like, I was going to say braille, but that's not appropriate. Like it is. There's a lot of
texture
on my skin right now. A lot of texture.
The topography of your chin is just, we've got elevations that we don't even know yet. We're climbing Everest in some scenarios.
Wowie wowzerson. So we're going to lay back a little bit on the Korean skincare, which is good because I was very worried about packing it for Europe, for Taylor. I was worried about how I was going to pack it for football.
You guys, the fact that she thinks about how she's going to pack her skincare is bananas to me.
I'm like a 12-year-old girl right now.
I am so envious that she plans and even thinks about things like that. You're lucky if I'm
It's a lot to plan.
Anything. But I need to go back to this for a second.
Sure.
The skincare world is so confusing, and sometimes it feels like a little bit of a racket. I'm not going to lie.
And you know what? It's causing congestion.
Well, because it's like, oh, do this. Okay, but don't do this. And then you do this and it's working. It's like, then sometimes, I'm going to be honest with you, I do nothing and it's like the best my face ever looks. I go and get all these facials and then I get breakouts.
I know.
It's like, I don't know what I'm supposed to be doing.
Ashley Phipps said the same thing today. Are these facials or all these things like causing the zits and we should just go back to what we were doing? Like,
I don't know what to do because I have the oil cleanser and then I got that little powder that's in there and it mixes and I love it and it feels so good. And then it's like, it's working.
Yeah.
And then like a week later, it's not working. And then I break the glass bottle all over the shower. So now I'm picking up while naked shards of glass off the bottom of the shower. And so I'm like, I just don't know.
Don't pack that for Taylor Swift.
No, and I'm not consistent with any regiment in my life because I get bored with it, or then I'm like, oh, it's running low and I definitely didn't buy it in advance. I don't know, it's just all overwhelming. And then I think to myself, like, less is more. Like my mom growing up, she used washed her face with like a bar of soap and used oil Volay. Anyone know what that like is? It's like gorgeous. White bottle, black little isn't it funny how you like, I remember that smell and like watching her get ready in the morning. By the way, her ready is like just lotion and spraying Elizabeth Arden sunflower perfume. Aww. I know, but like those things like remind me of her, and has perfect skin, has never had a zit in her whole life. So I just don't know what to do. I mean, we're going left, we're going right, we're going up, we're going down with skincare. Somebody make it simple for me.
Can I... I probably need a blood transfusion after all the blood I lost today with those extractions. But can I talk to you about, I was talking to Ash about this. There's always that one or two area that will have a blackhead or need like a little bit of extraction. I have one that I always can go to every 2 weeks.
Where?
And then I'm like,
and
just on my chin. Yeah, I just know it's like a white, like not a white head, but it's got a little bit of what I like to call.
I'm going to tell you, I get real excited about those blackheads because I know they're coming out and they're coming out without any kind of repercussion. And when I go and I get those little, maybe we've talked about this, safety pins, that's not always the cleanest.
No.
But then I'm like, I'm excited when I find a safety pin in the bottom of the dinge bag and I'm like, ooh, this is going to prevent scarring. Go right into the pore, get her out. There's such satisfaction when it just pops right out.
Now, I did that last week, but still came to the facial with like a red bump. And she goes, now what you did was you pushed it down farther. No. Like there's more in there to get. So now I'm bleeding again. And
you can't win. Now I can't win in a predicament that I'm in. And I might get in trouble from my significant other for bringing this up. But I feel like this is a safe space here on the Calm Down podcast platform. So I'm going to present this question based off of a little bit of, and it's not been identified. This situation I'm in has not been diagnosed. I'm just seeing some signs that might make me believe that that's where we're headed.
I saw the sign, Ace of Base, yeah.
And it opened up my eyes. So everywhere. I have talked ad nauseum about my divorces and my last.
You got divorced?
Yes, I know. This just, and I got robbed and I got divorced. Two headlines you can always count on with me. But I have made it very
couldn't have
known.
A baby. Did anyone know that? Anyways.
Well, see, and it all, well, there we go. We live to tell the tale. But I make it very overt. I am very overt about the fact that I never want to get married again. Why?
Why are you so overt about it? Why are you so vocal and like dead set on it? Why? Because
the first time I got married, I was very young and I chalked up the first time to getting married to just being young and dumb and okay. Then I said, I don't like losing. You don't like losing. And I was like, ooh, that really sucks. Like I got an L in that column right now. So the second time around, the individual had never been married before. And I didn't feel that it was fair to be so full stop on marriage when that person wanted to get married. It was important to that person. And I didn't want to take away something from them that they wanted just because of my past. So I was like, okay.
You also didn't get to know that person.
Right. There's a myriad of other subplots to that headline.
Sure.
But the headline there is that person wanted to get married and I didn't want to take that away from them. So against my better judgment for a lot of reasons, but also just in general, I was like, fine, I'll get married again. Get married again.
But it's not what really you wanted.
It wasn't what I wanted at all. I didn't want to get married again after the first loss because who wants to keep doing that? I was totally fine. And I even got married the first time, honestly, not kind of on like, I don't want to say a bet, but I was like, I went there to break up with the guy because this is a whole therapy session. I went there to break up with him because the minute I start getting attached, I like retreat because I don't want to get too close because then I might be dependent on someone else for happiness and I want to control my own happiness. So this is 24-year-old me, still 42-year-old me, the same, but
sure.
Start to get too close. So gonna back away. I'll try to be succinct with this explanation to get us to where we are in the current day. So I go to break up with him. He says, we're not breaking up. We're getting married. I go, okay. We go to Hollywood and get tattoo rings. I've never had a tattoo. He had never had a tattoo. Get ring tattoos. And then 4 days later, I was like, well, if I'm going to get married, we're going to get married on a beach in Laguna Beach because I want to get married on a beach. He said, okay. I pull out a Forever 21 white dress out of my closet. I wear that. I get flowers on the side of the road and Polaroids were our pictures. That was the wedding. So I was thinking, this is great. I never really wanted the big wedding, so I didn't have to have it. We crashed somebody else's wedding because it's in June in Laguna at the hotel we're staying at. I'm cutting someone else's cake. Like, I mean, it was great. It was all very like random. I'm on the dance floor with the bride. I'm like, I got married too.
Get on your feet.
Yeah. So fine, that all happens. And then second time around, I'm like, okay, I'll do it the right way. I actually want my parents at this wedding because I never had my dad walk me down the aisle. So I get to make up for some of the things I never thought I wanted, but have. Okay. Now we got 2 strikes. I don't know about you, but I'm in the batter's box and I ain't looking to strike out for the third and final time. And I just don't want to make this commitment again when the first 2 times I was like, not really into it anyways, to then do it again, not the relationships per se, but this idea of marriage. Like, oh, we're going to be so much stronger or so much better if we get married. Like my Goldie Hawn, Kurt Russell mentality is if we're not married, every single day I get to wake up and decide I want to be with you. Like, I don't have to be with you, but I get to be with you. I want to be with you.
Is that okay for him?
Correct. So this is, you guys, this is where I'm at right now. Now, Steve has not said this. He has not come out and said, I want to get married. He hasn't said that. But I'm feeling a little bit guilty that I'm so, and this is, I just need to have the conversation with him is what's happening. But instead, you guys are letting me have
and
this
you never have?
Here. No, because I just have never put it as an option on the table. It's kind of like when your parents said, like, we're not getting a dog. We're not having a dog. You're never getting a dog. Get over it, kid. Or we're never having a cat. Your dad's allergic. So just, you think, okay, well, I'm never going to get that. I never have given Steve the option, like, we're going to get married because I just took it off the table before it could even be a conversation.
So right now you're Joe in the Tortured Poets Society. Like you're Joe. You took everything off, like the table.
All roads lead back to Taylor. We are never, ever getting back together. So I bring all this up to get your guys' advice to, do I approach him and say like, hey, are you feeling sorry? Because maybe he'd be like, nah, I'm good. But I've already taken having a baby off the table, which he agrees with. He says he doesn't want to have a baby. So that part. But I haven't really heard him ever say like, I don't want to marry you. I've never heard him say that. I've
always heard you say it. I've never heard him say it.
I know. So and then I'm feeling a little bit
over you and said, I don't like that. And I want you to get married.
But why do you want me to get married when you know it's caused me so much pain?
Because these aren't the same people. But I do agree with, in this day and age, does it really even matter anymore? Like you bring up, Kurt Russell and Goldie Hawn. They're adorable. There's actually a lot of other people that do it too. But I do think you should find out if that's okay with him.
I know. And it could be a really simple question. I mean, like I could just walk outside and be like, hey, did you ever like want to get married? And I just didn't present that to you. Or it could be like,
can we talk?
Can we talk? I don't know. I'm just having this feeling so hard because there's like certain things, like he's just acting in a different way that I'm used to, not in a bad way, just different. And so I'm like, now this is what you and I do. It's what we do at work. We all of a sudden are now
getting down
in a rabbit hole and we're getting fired. And the boss said, call me because he wanted me to go work another event. So I fired myself before I even give the person an opportunity to maybe promote me. I don't know.
Lost all feeling in my extremities, like feeling like my chest is tightening, definitely going to have some sort of stroke. Oh, hey, I was just checking to see if you could make it to dinner next week. Well, I can't because I'm actually at Cedars on an IV because they're checking my heart rate because I just convinced myself I'm off the A crew and
it's honestly the
I'm
worst
missing football
thing
this
you
year.
could text somebody if you're a boss is, hey, why don't you give me a call when you get a chance? Or just call me. Or you have a minute?
Hey,
I don't
just
know.
tried you.
Hey, just tried you. That's also that's a bad one. Hey, just tried you. I know. I just saw the missed call, and that's why I didn't answer because I'm already assuming the worst.
Hey, quick question when you get a minute.
No.
Like how quick? Like you're fired or we're going in a different direction? Going in a different direction sounds a little longer. That's not quick.
So I would love your thoughts, comments and concerns, questions, comments and concerns on how I should approach this situation with Steve. Do I just go, because he's so like normal? Maybe that's my problem. I'm just like,
he's awesome. Which by the way, like I have intel that basically one of my family members, your family member, Ogden Phipps loves him. Like,
well, that's like my, that's like the end all be all. If he is an endorser of anything, I'm in on it. But let me just put a bow on this conversation before we continue. Once I really get answers, why is it that what's the thing with marriage? Like, why did you like growing up? Did you want to get married? Like, what is it about marriage for you that like feels like the right thing to have done with Jarrett? Like, because I don't get.
You know what's crazy is that I felt like a lot of pressure was off us once we got married. I felt like I put so much pressure on our relationship until we got engaged or married because I knew I was in it for the long haul. I knew this is the person I wanted to be with. I knew that, this was like it for me. But and I guess I'd known that from him, but also like, let's be honest. We work in this world. We have a lot of guy friends. It's like, are we doing this? Are we not doing this?
But I feel like that's the woman asking that more than it is the guy.
Yeah,
right?
that was me.
Yeah.
But then it was like once we got engaged, once we got married, I kind of chilled. Well, I wouldn't say I chilled out. Jared wouldn't say I chilled out at all. I felt less pressure with our relationship. It was funny. One of my really good friends actually said that to us maybe like a month ago. She was just like, you guys have almost gotten stronger with all the crap you've been through versus like
amazing
how much it's hurt you. Because then this is always fun to hear. There were some times we didn't think you guys would come back. You have some doozy of a fights when you're dating and stuff like that, which
you guys have been through a lot of stuff together.
But I feel like we are just like our friendship, like our commitment towards each other. I mean, that's how I feel about it. I just hit the mic. Sorry, Brian.
No,
but I felt like it took a lot of pressure off.
Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah, I think that for me, obviously, my experience with marriage hasn't been great. So why do you want to jump back into something that hasn't been good? Like, hey, jump back into that deep end. The last 2 times you went, you drowned. Maybe have floaties on this time. It's like, who says floaties? But I don't know. I was just curious. So I would love anyone's thoughts if they've been in similar situations where it's like the partner just takes things off the table before they're ever in an option. And then do you get resentful at one point? Like,
you do.
We're gonna be 50 years old. Like, this is my boyfriend, Steve. Boyfriend. Like, boyfriend sounds like so insignificant in the big scheme of things. But then what? My partner? It's like, I don't know. That's not weird. So anyways, that's just where I'm at. We're out of time, unfortunately, because
we're actually not. Ryan wants us to have longer podcasts, which we haven't discussed yet.
We haven't. How do you know that? Did he say, call me when you had a chance and I never called him back?
No, it's because I think you were out of town, but in the end, it's better for us. Do you have a few minutes or do you have to skedaddle? Yeah.
No, all I have to do is make Oz's bed for him.
Do you want to go over a couple of headlines?
I would love nothing more than to do that.
I really wanted to hear what you have to say about this.
Okay, what do you got, babe?
Thread sheets count? Do thread counts really matter when buying bed sheets? Experts reveal the truth. Thread count has little to do with the actual quality of your sheets, despite what the industry has put out there. Thoughts?
I'm going to go right back to what we just talked about with skincare. I think it's there's some of these companies that have like all the ingredients and all these things cost so much. So the price of the skincare has to go up. And the sheets, same thing, like all these materials that you're using, that's like silk and this and and the buzzword of thread count. So it drives the sheets up, or the marketing, like a Chanel lip gloss could be the same as CoverGirl, but the actual ingredients, but all the marketing and the packaging and all the stuff of the Chanel makes it $45 and CoverGirl is $20. I say this to be like, I'm very honest about my my home design. I never went to school for interior design. I don't even know half the terminology for home design. I just know that if I did a blind test and I felt one set of sheets and another set of sheets, I wouldn't equate thread count with the ones that feel better. It's like what feels better for my personal preference. Like some people can like that jersey material, like t-shirt. I'm like, nah. I like more of a silky, like soft sheet. So I have no idea if that makes the sheets better. I think it's all personal preference.
I'm a side sleeper on my face. I just bought a silk pillowcase. I know that sounds dirty, but like I feel like we got to do everything we can at this point to save this face.
No. Why does that sound dirty? That's actually really good. So you're not smashing your face with the like linen. Never, ever, ever be on linen sheets, like as a woman, because that material is so rough. Like I love the look of linen, but not when it comes, because they sell those. They sell linen sheets. Like if you want that like Tulum look vibe, not on this face. I don't. I'll be looking like the sandy beaches of Tulum.
Mine looks like
Yellowstone. You look great. You need to knock it off.
I do love. I'm a terrible host. But I should have transitioned with how many Americans still believe in true love after our big talk about your talk you're about to have. How many Americans still believe in true love? Good news for anyone seeking a spark of romance this summer. True love is still alive, as 70% of Americans believe it exists. Who are these people? Oh my
God. I love that. I love love. That's why we talked about it on the pregame with the sweet person that submitted the question of like, how, you okay? You're talking about bugs.
There's a gnat.
You okay? Are they bed bugs?
No, probably. More bumps.
The pregame question that we got this week, one of them was about how soon should you start dating after you get a divorce? And my whole thing has always been like, why I got back, even if I think marriage isn't for me, I love love. Like I love it. I it's part of the reason why like I'm so happy in my life right now, which is also why I don't want to fuck it up with a marriage. Because love is like, if you have, my dad always would say this to me, if you have all these things in your life, all these great things, but you don't have anyone to share it with, like, then what? Like my first call when anything good would happen in my life, even when I was in relationships, was always to my dad, because I wanted to tell him. I wanted him to be proud of me. It's my dad, my mom and dad. Couldn't wait to tell him the news. And now they're not my first call. They're my second call. And Steve's my first call. And it's like, I want like everyone to be in love and I want everyone to be happy, because think about your life, like how much better it is with Jared. Like it's the reason you like get excited to do anything.
I'm kidding.
Like,
I made a face.
Like think about it. Like, yeah, it's not every day is not fucking perfect, but going on a trip, you want to go to Mexico by yourself, or would you rather go with your best friend? No. I'll never forget what you said to me. We were in Montana.
I like that.
Remember this, when we were in Montana and I did not want to go home. And I was like, oh, I'm going to stay a few days. And you're like, I want to go home. I want to go see my husband because I really like him. And I was like, ooh, what's that like? And it was one of those moments where I was like, fuck, I long for the day to have that. So yay, love.
And yay, you have it.
For the way you look at me.
I like this one. I think we both feel the same about this. I have dealt with this. And when I saw, Taylor Swift defends Lady Gaga. We saw that whole thing. Yeah. People were calling Lady Gaga pregnant.
Ridiculous.
And obviously Taylor weighed in, which I thought was magical. But you got to believe one of the reasons why she weighed in was the week before. I remember I was in Mexico and these people were posting videos of her on tour and they were like, she's pregnant. She's pregnant. And I just, two things. I get we're not at her level. I can't even imagine being at that level. We are in front of the camera for a living. I have posted a photo before of myself on Instagram. It was actually from week 18 of the season. It was me and my coworkers, and I guess I didn't suck in, and somebody wrote, "You pregnant?"
Fuck.
And I just thought, no, can't get pregnant, actually. But thanks for asking. And I also remember when Jennifer Aniston came out with her whole thing. I forgot if it was last year, where she was like talking about how many times she went through IVF. She couldn't get pregnant. She was like, and then there were the times I'm bloated or whatever's going on and I'm going through IVF and people thought I were. Go to hell. Like, enough. Are we really still here where we're commenting on women's bodies?
Yep.
I mean, this chick, Taylor Swift, and what she does 4 to 5 nights a week on tour in high heels, moving and grooving. She can look however she wants to look. That chick is in great shape. And to do that about Lady Gaga too, you have no clue what people are going through in their lives. Maybe they are doing IVF. Maybe they are trying. Go to hell.
Maybe they have something else going on. Maybe there's something in their body that's making them gain weight. There's hormones. There's all these things. Put it this way. Let's make it simple. Stop commenting on women's bodies. Period. End of story. Like, you're too fat. You're too skinny. There's a million different ways that people go at women. Like, you don't know what they're going through. And not just women. I know that guys can be attacked too. But the whole pregnancy thing, like, I'm so glad that you just said that about your situation. Like, yeah, no, I would love to be pregnant. You asshole is what you want to write.
Can't get it.
But then it's like,
you know what? Probably should lay off the chips and salsa. Actually, maybe a little bloated.
Yeah.
You good? It's wild. And I'm so glad she said something, because obviously it came from a place where I saw what they were doing to her the week before.
Yeah.
Stop.
Everyone just be kind. In the words of Cinderella, as I go and clean the attic and the horse's stall, I always love the expression, have courage and be kind.
Have courage and be kind.
I mean, God, is there any better? Like, I just love that movie so much.
I love that movie.
My battery is going to die on the computer.
Love you. We're done anyways.
No, I know. I just don't want it to cut off before we upload this. I love you so much. This was fun. We should do this more often. Another 10 minutes.
Ryan loves it.
Great. Well, I love you guys. Thank you for everyone that listens. And I would love your input so I can stay in a loving, healthy relationship. Thank you for making this a safe space to talk about my feelings. Saves me a lot of money on therapy.
Don't leave me, Steve.
Don't leave.
Calm Down with Erin and Charissa is a production of iHeartRadio.
For more podcasts from iHeartRadio, visit the iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts.